First things first. What to do in an emergency. In this episode, we're continuing our discussion on safety. It's scary to think about someone getting hurt. But the truth is that accidents can and do happen. So it's good to know what to do if someone needs emergency medical help. Even though you're a kid, you can make a big difference by doing the right thing. The best way to be ready in an emergency is to be prepared. Knowing what to do ahead of time can help. Hopefully, in an emergency, you're in the care of an adult. In this instance, you want to follow their directions carefully, so listen closely and follow their instructions. But should you find yourself without adult supervision, there are measures you can take. First, try to remain calm and assess the scene to determine if it's safe to stay where you are, or do you need to evacuate, check for injured, and is it safe to approach them? Next, call 911. Tell them as much as you can about the situation, who you are, what's the location address, and the nature of the emergency, and remain on the line until the operator says it's okay to hang up. Follow their instructions. Then, if necessary, provide care or comfort for the injured. It's better that you know first aid before providing care. It'll protect you against liabilities and afford the injured person a better outcome. Otherwise, it may be best to just provide comfort until emergency medical providers arrive. Learning first aid. Look for basic first aid classes with your local Red Cross, the YMCA or YWCA, the Boys or Girl Scouts, 4-H clubs, your local hospital, and other organizations. Or, ask your school nurse to have a first aid class, just for students in your school. Keep in mind, calling for help is the most important thing you can do in an emergency.
Have been killed in classrooms. And since April of 1999, when 13 people died at Columbine High School, 311,000 students have experienced gun violence while at school. That number from a database of school shootings.
Unfortunately, mass shooting incidents have increased in recent years, prompting organizations to consider active shooter response plans. Do you know what to do if there's an active shooter? If you find yourself in a dangerous situation involving a gunman aka active shooter, it is best to remain calm. If your school has instituted active shooter drills, follow the training you've received. That might include use of a specific code, such as Code Gray, that alerts everyone to shelter in place, secure entrances, etc. Essentially, the objective is to survive the encounter. To that end, there are some strategies. Evacuate, hide, or take action. Evacuate if there is an accessible escape path. Attempt to evacuate the premises. Be sure to have an escape route and plan in mind. Evacuate regardless of whether others agree to follow. Leave your belongings behind. Help others escape, if possible. Prevent individuals from entering an area where the active shooter may be. Keep your hands visible so officers know you're not the perpetrator. Follow the instructions of any police officers. Do not attempt to move wounded people. Hide out if evacuation is not possible. If you haven't called 911 already, do so if it doesn't threaten your safety to do so. Find a place to hide where the active shooter is less likely to find you. If you are in a classroom or office, stay there and secure the door. If you are in a hallway, get into a room and secure the door. Your hiding place should be out of the active shooter's view. It should provide protection if shots are fired in your direction, like an office with a door that can be closed and locked. Prevent an active shooter from entering your hiding place. Lock the door, blockade the door with heavy furniture. In extreme circumstances, you may be left with no option except to take action and confront the shooter. Because when the shooter is at close range and you cannot flee, and the shooter is shooting anyone he or she sees, your chance of survival is much greater if you try to incapacitate him or her. Only as a last resort, attempt to take the active shooter down. Disable the shooter with a makeshift weapon. So change agents, let's get prepared. You never know if your preparations will save yours or someone else's life. If it's to be, it's up to me.
If it's to be, it's up to me.